You know one thing I really love discussing? Video game console designs. Whether they be home consoles or portable consoles, I'm a huge soft spot for kind of debating on what is the coolest looking video game console ever, or what are some of the worst, the tackiest, ugliest consoles out there. So I thought it would be fun to take as many home consoles that I possibly can and rate them in sort of a smash or pass sort of style. I've never done one of these videos before, and why not start with this? I think it's a great idea. So anyway, let's muse. So the Magnavox Odyssey, we're going to start off with that. It's a really clean looking console for its time. First generation, it has that nice little single colored wood grain combination I'm always a fan of. Always a fan of the wood grain style, so that's a smash. Oh, the Fairchild Channel F. So the Fairchild Channel F is, it looks like an 8-track player. Really look at it like it looks like an 8-track, but it still has that really clean, classic sort of style. I love the color of the wood grain, the 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, just nice and clear. I love the way the Fairchild looks, honestly. That's a smash. And then of course the Fairchild Channel F System 2, also a smash as well. It looks a little bit sleeker, looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more modern. I dig it. Oh, the granddaddy. Oh, my heart. The Atari 2600, the original wood grain Atari 2600, absolute smash for me. It transcends pretty much everything. I love the toggles on the top. I always thought it was strange that the controller ports are on the back, but I guess it makes sense that the original had 4 controller ports and you needed a spot to put those toggles. So, but yeah, absolute smash. Now, we're gonna talk just on this one. I'm just gonna put all of the telegames, the Sears Video Arcades, all of those that carried this exact same model and mold, all of them are smashes for me because I don't really think, but this is the best looking one. Except for this one, the Video Arcade 2. This is where it starts to dip a little bit for me. This one is a pass. This one is a pass because I don't really like they went a little too basic with this one. The buttons are really small for all the different buttons that you need for it. It's a pass. I'm not feeling it. Okay, the 2600 Junior. This is a strange one, because it's like, it's small and it's sleek, but at the same time, it also doesn't really do anything for me. The controller's ports are still on the back, but I kind of like how it leans down. It looks like a foot pedal. It kind of looks like a foot pedal, but I always love the multicolor Atari stripe. I'm always a big fan whenever they do that. So I think that's you know what? It's a smash. It's a smash. Although I'm still not keen on Atari not having a cover for the controller port, which we're going to get to that, but that's a smash. The Odyssey 2, so I definitely don't like it. You know what it reminds me of? Remember those old, not the Speak and Spell, but the little mini professor. Remember the mini professor? So the things, it reminds me of that with its numeric keypad and QWERTY key, or semi-QWERTY keyboard, however this is. It's just, there's a little bit too much going on for me for the time. Don't like it. It's a pass. The Intellivision. This one's a smash. Again, wood grain. Definitely a fan of the wood grain. I don't like the side controller. I mean, the side cartridge slot. Not a big fan of the side cartridge slot, but I like the color. I like the gold offset to the black and the wood grain. It's really, really nice. I like it. Smash. No, pass. The Intellivision 2, don't like the color scheme. Don't like the cheapness look of it. That's kind of where it comes out. I get it. Now, you're going to hear me say that a lot when it comes to the revision models of many of these, that sometimes they look cheap. I'm okay with it looking cheap if it's still fun and neat. And this one really loses the appeal that the first one had for me. Pass. The Intiv System 3. So it's like, okay, we're gonna take the style of the original, but we're gonna take the utilitarianism look of the second one. No, pass. Oh, ColecoVision. I do like the controller cartridge slot at the top. I like the ridges. I'm a fan of ridges on a console. I don't know what it is. I'm always a fan of that. I love the ColecoVision logo, but something about it feels really off to me. I think it's like, okay, you got the expansion module on the front, you got the cartridge on the top. It's like, where do you plug the cartridge in? Where's the power? Oh, there's the power slot. It's like, I don't know. I think it's a pass for me overall. Man, the Atari 5200. And I hate the fact that I'm gonna do my very first console dirty like this. It's a pass. It's too big, it's too bulky. The power button is a weird mess to it. I like the slot in the top that you can store your controllers or the cartridges in, or even in some cases, a tasty beverage. You can do that, but still Atari just will not, they don't like covering their cartridge slot. And as we continue on, it continues to be more and more of a problem, but oh, I love you 5200, I do, but no, it's a pass. The NES! Alright, so the original NES, the good old toaster console. It's boxy, it's kind of bulky. I love the contrast of the colors. I love the ridges on the side. I love the font and the logos on it. It's iconic. It's absolutely iconic. And to me, even with all of that, it's a smash. And of course, the origin, the Famicom. Now, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I've never been a fan of the original Famicom. I'm trying to think of it like, it looks like a shoe. Like, I look at it and it looks like a shoe. And maybe it's because I have Sonic on the brain. Like, it might be, and I see the colors. I just think it's like an inverted Sonic shoe. But the controller's being grafted to the console, the buttons in weird spots. I've never been a fan of the original Famicom design. It's a pass. Top loader. Smash. I've always liked the top loader's design. I don't like the fact that it's only RF out only, but that's a technical thing. We're not here to talk about technicals. We're here to talk about aesthetics, and I like the design. I like the look of the feel. It's very sleek, and it's nice. It's very nice. Twin Famicom. There's too much going on here for me. Nah, it's a pass. Master System. All right, the first Sega one we're getting to. I've always been a fan of the little diagram style thing that you see right above the cartridge input, but why is the pause button on the console? I've never understood that about the Master System / the Mark III. Why is the pause button on the console? That kind of makes me want to give it a pass, but I don't think that's fair. I've always thought the Master System one is very sleek, so that's a smash. The Mark III, smash. Same thing, but different colors, slightly different design. I like the controller slots on the side, but they learned from Nintendo's mistake and they are detachable, which is nice. But yeah, smash. No, pass. The Master System 2, never been a big fan. It feels cheap, and the cartridge slot on the top feels like whenever you're going to drop mail at the post office, and I always worry that it's not going to close back. Yeah, it's a pass. And as tempted as I would be to give it a smash because of Sonic is there, this is a Brazilian exclusive Master System 3, by the way. I'm tempted to give it a smash because Sonic is on it, but nah, it's still a pass. 7800. Same thing I would say about, it's like they didn't really learn from the concept of the Video Arcade 2, of the Series Video, the 2800. I didn't even call it by its proper term. It's a 2800, but with a slightly better system inside. Still, cartridge slot still open. Gross. Pass. As much as I want to give it a smash because I love that color swipe on the 7800, this is the PAL version, by the way. Nope, still a pass. Oh, the Atari Zegs. Cartridge slot still open, but you want to know what? It has that classic computer feel. I like the colors. I like the different pastel colored buttons. You know what? Why not? Smash. Why not? Baby. Smash. All day long. All night long. The original Model 1 Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Now notice I'm only talking about the Genesis in this case because there's not enough differences between the Mega Drive and other regions versus the Genesis. So I'm just gonna put them all as the one big smash category on it. The volume rocker, the ridges on the side, the big old Genesis, the 16-bit right in the front. For the models that say high definition graphics on the top. Absolutely gorgeous, stunning video game console design. My second favorite video game console design of all time. You'll see my first in a moment, but this is without a doubt a smash. The Model 2 Genesis, also a smash. It's compact, but it still doesn't lose its edge. It still doesn't lose its appeal. It still looks great. The Genesis logo is still prominent. The Sega logo is still prominent. I like where the power light button is on it. It still looks good. That's definitely a smash. Oddly enough, fun fact, my wife, Ranchan Does Things, actually prefers this model over the Model 1. I don't know why, but she does. No. Nope. Pass. Absolute pass. Genesis 3. I get what Majesco's going with this. It's small, it's cute, it's compact, it looks cheap and it feels cheap, and I just don't like it. It's like one of those, it almost look like I want to chuck it like a frisbee across the room. No. Pass. And there it is, my #1 console design of all time, the Neo Geo AES. You just want to, like, give it a hug. Give it a big old hug. Gorgeous, absolutely stunning design across this thing. I love it dearly. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, time to break some hearts. The American Super Nintendo, never liked it. Pass. It just looks too basic. It's too basic to me. I don't like the toggles of the power button and the reset button. It needs something more. Like, I don't know if it's the power buttons themselves need to be reflective as more like power buttons. I don't know if it's the colors of the buttons. I don't know what it is. It just feels so bleh. Like, I want to love it, but I don't. Except for this one, the Japanese Super Famicom Smash. This is where I don't really understand why the American version had to look so much different. This one nails it. This one's got the colors, this one's got the design. I like the different shades of gray that they use for the shell around the cartridge spot, around the power buttons and the reset buttons and the cartridge cover. I like the callback to the Super Famicom colors on the corner. Like, this is, to me, this gets it. And that's why this is the pinnacle. This is definitely a smash. This is the pinnacle, the PAL Super Nintendo. This is the one I want. Like, if I were to ever have my own proper Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo I own is my wife's. It's Ranchan Does Things. It's hers. But man, if I were to own one, that's the one I want. The Super NES Junior, the Model 2. To me, I actually prefer it over the Model 1. But it's still a pass. It doesn't quite reach it a little bit. It doesn't quite give that extra oomph that I'm really hoping for from an upgrade to that. Like, nah, it's still a pass. Now, if I had to own one myself, without going with the PAL version, sure. But no, pass. Oh, Philips CDI. It's a DVD player. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a utilitarian DVD player. It does the job, but that's it. Pass. Extra hard pass. The Magnavox version of the CDI, the second model that would come around. I mean, taking the terrible scoop controller out of this, this is definitely a pass for me. No, gross. By the way, why is the power button on the side? Oh, the Model 1 Sega CD. Ooh, smash. I love the Model 1 Sega CD. Now, granted, overall, I prefer a slot loading CD tray. I am never a big fan of the drives that come out because they tend to break, like, more often than anything. But the Model 1 Sega CD is so beautiful, and but the thing is that it's a smash with an asterisk. And here's where I'm getting to on this. Smash with an asterisk because on a Model 1 Genesis, it's beautiful. On a Model 2 Genesis, no, because that extra little space just looks just a little bit too awkward for me. It's like, those those dolls that have like they take the cap off and it's like a smaller version that's on top of it. It kind of reminds me of that. For that, if you stick a Model 2 on a Sega CD Model 1, but nah, you put that Model 1 high definition graphics on the Sega CD Model 1, and magnifique, love it. And also, I'm gonna say same thing about this, Smash. Smash with a Genesis 2. With the Genesis 1, it's like when you're trying to fit into a pair of pants that are too small. Like, they'll still fit, it still works, but you can feel that it's lopping a little, you know where I'm getting with this. It's like, it's tight, but it's a little uncomfortable moving around. But the Model 2 Sega CD with the Model 2 Genesis, yeah, definitely a smash. Oh, the CDX. This is a tough one. This is a tough one because I like it. I like it, but at the same token, it looks like, and it is, a portable CD player. Like, it's really not that much more than just a portable CD player. And I'm just like, oh man. And we don't do halves here. It's one or the other. You know what? Smash. Why not? Smash. Oh, yes, absolutely smash. The JVC Xi / the Wonder Mega, my favorite iteration of the Sega CD Genesis hybrids as a multitude together, is absolutely beautiful. That is a smash all day long and just beautiful. Now, I totally understand why they made the revisions to the American version, but any version of the JVC Xi or Wonder Mega is just, it's a stunning looking console. Pioneer Laser Active. Oh. It's a Laserdisc system, so it's ginormous, right? But it's a smash. It's a smash, and I'll tell you why. Because the module in the front is so cool. How it has that unique little sector. Like, it doesn't take up too much space. It's a little small minor part, like right about here, right? A little small minor part that takes up just enough space where you could swap it out with the different modules. So cool. So very cool. So no, that's a smash. The Neo Geo CD smash. This is a smash because I like the ridges on the side. It's a top loader, which top loaders are great and all too. Like it's a push down top loader. I like the ridges on the side. I like the ridges on the back. It's nice and sleek without being too bulky. No, that's a smash. The front loader Neo Geo CD, this one never came to America. I like this one as well. This one's also a smash. I think it's also because one little fun thing I love about this one is the call to the 100 Mega Shock logo, the Neo Geo logo that's in the top. Like, I really like that callback. Very, very cool smash. But then we get to the the CDZ, and it's, pass. Because it took away what was cool about the first one. It still has the ridges on the side, but I think that little edge at the top, and then having a big old lopping CD top front to it, no call out to the 100 Shock logo, like nothing like that. It took away the cool parts of it. And while this is the superior model to anybody who wants to buy one, this is the superior model by a country mile. But from a design standpoint, I'm not feeling it. FM Towns Marty. So FM Towns Marty is so weird. I don't know. It's like they really tried so hard to get into the 90s space age kind of style to it. I'm not feeling it. It's a pass. Ooh, the 3DO Panasonic FZ1 model. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous console. This is one that surprised me when my wife and I were talking about console designs, when Ranchan and I were talking. This one surprised me. When we took a look at it, it's like, this was the shocker, because I love the button placement. I love the feet design, like the curved feet design at the top. I love the marble, the kind of marble look that the front of it has. Like, I love everything about this design. That is a smash. But what a downturn we have. The FC10 pass. It's an absolute nothing console. Like, again, going a little bit cheaper, I get it, but it's a nothing console. And again, power button on the side, do not like. Nah, pass. Goldstar 3DO, pass. Again, looks like a CD player, nothing to it, pass. Oh no, pass. The Sanyo try. It looks like a VHS player. Look at it. Take a look at where that tray is, where the power lights and buttons are, and where that comes out. And you tell me that doesn't look like a VHS player. No, pass. Oh, no. Get it out of here. Jaguar, pass. Hard pass. No offense to the Jaguar as a console in itself, but this is one of the ugliest consoles known to man. It's not my ugliest console. We'll get to that. But it definitely is, because I don't like the style of it. Like, what is it supposed to be? Like, it looks like it's trying to be some weird spaceship. And again, Atari, I hate this for this fact. Once again, not having a cartridge cover. And especially for something like this, where it can easily get dust inside. No, I don't like that. I don't like anything about the Jaguar design. And just to think, they didn't learn anything with the Jaguar CD, so we're continuing with the hard pass. So continuing with this, because not only did they not learn from the cartridge slot, not only is the design of the CD just kind of ugly, but then you put it on top and it looks like a receptacle. It looks like you're gonna put your waist in there, if you get my drift. If you put what I'm putting down, you know. The Amiga CD32 pass. Again, there's just not really anything to it. I don't like the big dome that they put on top of the 32-bit. You can see that they copied Sega in that sort of design on it. And just, not feeling it. Pass. The PCFX. I mean, taking the oddness of this console out of it, it looks like classic 90s PC tech. Like, it looks like I just walked into a Gateway store and I'm about to buy a PC. That's kind of what this looks like to me. And I actually kind of love it. It's a smash. I actually kind of love it. I mean, it's mainly because it's harking me back to those PC towers of old, right? But yeah, it's a smash. I love it. Sorry, 32X. Nope. Hard pass. Hard pass, because it just looks like a mushroom. It makes it look like a mushroom. And why in any capacity would you want a Sega console to remind you of a mushroom? No. Sorry, Sega. Oh, my baby. My baby. Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn. Love you so much in your design. Arguably, in my opinion, one of Sega's most gorgeous design consoles. That is a smash all night long. gorgeous, no matter which version of the Saturn it is, whether it be Model 1, Model 2, High Saturn, B Saturn, This Is Cool Saturn, the Hello Kitty Saturn, any of them, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, they are all absolutely gorgeous. The original PlayStation, man, this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one because in design-wise, it's fine, but it also reeks of utilitarian. It looks very boxy. However, this is one of those cases that I think it's because it's flat. I think it's because the disc tray is flat. If it was domed, I really wouldn't like it. But I think because it's flat and it takes up so much of that, when it pops out in an iconic feel of like the power and the open buttons there, and the color of the PlayStation logo, the contrast of the PS logo along with the gray of the PlayStation box. But it's so basic though. But it's basic, but it's classy. It's a classy basic. Yeah, you know what? It's a smash. It's a smash. Classy basic is still classy, and I dig it. But oh, the PS1 smash. Love the PS1. It's so cute. Like, look, it's so cute. This again, I think the main thing that makes this stick out so much beyond the color white, they picked that nice little shade of like a ceramic kind of white that I really like. I think it's the fact that they curve the edges. I think that just that little tiny detail of curving the edges really makes it work for me. I love this. The Net Yaroze. Oh, the Net Yaroze PS1, one of the most gorgeous consoles ever. Imagine something that is smash, by the way. Definitely a smash. So I know I just kind of knocked the original PlayStation for being a little bit too basic, but it just goes to show you how sometimes taking a console, changing the color, and giving it an absolutely stunning matte black, like charcoal black finish. Oh my goodness. This is the console for me that is my white whale. I don't really collect consoles. If I could somehow make it big in some capacity, one of my bucket list items as a collector is to get a Net Yaroze. It is, because this is just, oh, it is so beyond stunning. I don't know what I would do with it, but I still want it. Okay, here comes the hate. Sorry, y'all. Pass. And a hard pass. Nintendo 64, I've never, ever been a fan of this design. Again, this is one of the things that I'm trying to figure out exactly what this is supposed to be. I like the fact that it's got the 4 controller ports on the front. I'm always a big fan of that. I'm always a big fan of having as many controller ports as you can on the front. But at the same token, though, I like the fact that it's got the feet protruding out. I don't like the design. It's just something about it that just screams just boring to me. It's just kind of blah, so nah, it's a pass. But here's where Nintendo redeemed themselves, the Pokemon 64. So imagine taking that design, changing the color slightly a bit, and then putting Pikachu on the side, where his cheeks light up and the foot button is the reset button. His foot is the reset button, and the power button is a Pokeball. Beautiful. Smash. Beautiful. Like, I think, now we own one. Ranchan has one. We own one, but this is the way to do it. This is the absolute way to do it, because unlike the Nintendo 64 where, like, it doesn't matter what color it is, it's still ugly to me, even the gold one. This one, yes, I dig it. I dig it a lot. The Apple Bandai Pippin. Oh my goodness. So shout out to my buddy Kale Arts. He's a huge fan of Bandai Namco. Oh, the Pippin. So again, this goes back to the PCFX. I'm getting that reeking feel of classic PC vibe on this one. I like the logo. I do like the colored logo right there on the front of the tray. I like that the controls are right there on the front. I have no idea what the Apple Bandai Pippin can do. I've never played one, never tried one, just going off aesthetics here. You know what? Smash. Smash. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Now, the more I look at it, the more I like it. Oh, the Dreamcast. The classiest. Arguably the classiest of all the Sega consoles. Smash. The Dreamcast is very sleek, very simple, but yet so much defined. I love that the power button actually has that plastic load right into it. The Dreamcast logo prominently right in the middle. Comment section, let me know. Orange or blue Dreamcast logo? I actually really want to know the answers to that. But yeah, it's the Dreamcast it's absolutely stunning. Again, with the 4 controller ports on the side, and it's great. It's a great console, great design. So yeah, definitely a smash. So the Sega Sports one, I will say this. I am going to say smash, but just barely. Barely, because the Sega Sports logo, if that Sega Sports logo were any larger, it would be a pass. But as it is right there, I think it is the perfect size. That is the absolute perfect size that they put on there. I like the full black sleekness around it. It looks great. It looks great. So definitely a smash. The 2000 Dreamcast TV model. It's cute. It's cute. Smash. Okay. The original PS2. All right, so I have to think long and hard on this one. Because the original PS2, you know, heightens of the days of DVDs, right? I love the side ridges on the side. There are two things that really land this for me. Because by all means, it's too boxy and it looks like a standard sort of DVD player on one end. But on the other hand, it's a smash. And I'll tell you why. There are three things that I love about the PS2's design that make it a smash for me. One, where the Sony logo is. I like where the Sony logo is at the top of the console because most of us play it on vertically like that because you can play the PlayStation 2 vertically and horizontally. Reason number two, which brings me to that, the PlayStation logo on the CD tray, the DVD tray, you can turn it to the side. So if you're playing it on its side, you can rotate the logo. You can rotate it on its side. And I like the PS2's logo prominently on the front. The original blue PS2 logo, I'm a big fan, and I actually really like how that looks. So overall, yeah, smash. The PSX. So for those of you who don't know, this is the Japanese only PSX design. It has I think it's a digital video recorder and a TV tuner that's inside it. It's such a strange detour that Sony did for PlayStation hardware. It's neat. It's a neat thing to have, but going off aesthetics wise, I like the silver and white design. But however, this is the first instance of a cardinal sin that I have with console designs, and that is a glossy finish. If you have a glossy finish, there's a good chance I'm gonna give you a pass if it's a glossy finish. My OCD doesn't let me have consoles with glossy finishes because fingerprints and all that stuff. But here's the thing, the PSX is white. Since it's white and it's glossy, your fingerprints don't show off nearly as bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a smash. I'm gonna go ahead and still give it a smash because of that. But there's another Sony console that, unfortunately, we'll see. We'll see when we get to it. So I just learned about this when I was getting these pictures and doing research for this video. This is the Sony Bravia PX300 22-inch LCD TV that has a built-in PS2. It has a built-in PlayStation 2 in its base. I'm like, that's so cool. And it looks so cool. Give me that thing. It's a smash. I want it. I want it. But it's PAL, so, you know, have fun with that. And I'm sure it's really expensive. Probably after I finish doing this video, I'm going to look and see what the value is on this. And I'm sure it's probably gross. I bet it's ridiculously expensive. But for what it is, I love this. Yes, the DVD, the PS2 portion is glossy. I get it. But just the sheer fact that something like this exists, that's so cool. Smash. The GameCube. To me, when it comes to aesthetics, the Nintendo GameCube is my favorite aesthetically designed Nintendo console. Smash. It's my favorite. Because this is what I'm talking about when I said the words classy basic. The Nintendo GameCube is classy basic because it's exactly what it is. It is a game that is a cube. It is a perfect cube, and I love where the buttons are perfectly like accentuated on the top where the disc tray loader is. The 4 controller ports on the port, the nicely small memory card ports that are on the bottom where you can put the Game Boy player on the bottom and how you can have the attachments, and of course the handle. It's got a handle. Like, that's so cool. That's so cool. The GameCube is my favorite designed Nintendo console of all time, just period. No matter what color it is, big ups to the absolutely stunning Platinum Silver model. But yeah, this is absolutely a smash. I love it to bits. The Panasonic Q. I might get some flack for this one. This one's a pass. I think it's because it looks like a toaster. It looks like a metallic toaster to me, and I think with the buttons like right there on the front instead of maybe, no, I get it because it still wants to hold the GameCube kind of style, so you can't put all those buttons on the top. But I mean, look at these, look at what's there. Dialogue enhancers, cinema, the surround, bass plus game. You mean to tell me that you couldn't put those on the top? Like you couldn't put those on the top or maybe on the side somewhere? It's just completely unnecessary. There's too much going on the front for me, like on the front for that. The basic design of the original GameCube is what I like. There's too much going on this. It's a pass. The original Xbox. Dang it. Because I feel like I'm really gonna do it dirty by saying this. It's too big. Pass. The size of the original Xbox is what kills it for me, because the design is great. I love the X in the middle. Like, I love the X in the... You know what? Actually, scratch that. You know what? Smash. I've changed my mind. It's a smash. It's like, I don't want to give it flack for it being too bulky, because literally it does all the things that I love in a console. I love the basic buttons right in the front, 4 controller ports, the Xbox on this tray, the Xbox on the top, the prominent black and green colors, the X, like, this is like, it is in your face. This is the Microsoft Xbox. This is a way that Microsoft really got into the market, and this was a great first impression design-wise. Like, you look at an Xbox, you can't look away. It's like a train wreck. it's like, it's so fascinating that you can't look away from it, and I kind of love it. Now the Xbox 360. Okay, so the Xbox 360, the original model of the Xbox 360, I will always have a soft spot for. It's kind of modernized in a style. Like, I really like where the vent placement is. I like how the disc tray once again can be altered depending on how you're laying it on its top or it's on its side. Although, of course, unlike PlayStation, you can't rotate logos or anything like that. But I do like how when you turn it on, the controller ports, when they light up, alter depending on whether it's vertical or horizontal. I do really like that. I love the fact that the hard drive is detachable. I love the detachable and changeable faceplates. Big ups to that. Like, big that. I love how the flap for the USB port is so sleek. It's so very sleek, so it's a smash. I've always been a big fan of the original. You know, for better or worse, I know some people have some, you know, heartfelt memories because of Red Ring to Death. Trust me, I've been there. But yeah, I still am a fan of the 360's design. The 360S. I'm still gonna give it a smash, because design-wise, I think overall, I think it's the nicest looking console of the 3 Xbox 360 designs. I think it's the nicest looking of the 3. But I'll tell you one thing I definitely don't like. I don't like touch capacitive buttons. I really don't like touch capacitive buttons. There have been many times that I've accidentally tripped that eject button when trying to get games in and out of my Model S. And the power button is just like, there's no substitute for a tactile feel when it comes to a game console. There's no substitution for that. And yeah, but I still really like the design of it. So you know what? It's a smash. I like this one. I still like it. But then we get into the ugly. The Xbox 360 E series, I believe that's what it goes by, the E series. Nah, pass. It's a pass, because at this point, they've basically taken away all the cool parts. Where's the unique curves? Now, you don't want to get too curvy. We'll get to that when it comes to consoles anyway. When it comes to consoles, we'll get to that. But I don't know. Again, this took away all the personality. It took away all the personality, and not only that, why would you have the eject button point upwards like that when if you use a 360E on its side, now it's like the eject button is oddly odd on the side. It's very weird, and I don't like it. Not feeling it. It's a little too basic for me. Okay. The original big model PlayStation 3, also known as the BC, the fatty, the BC being backwards compatibility of the PS3. But again, we're not talking about performance, we're not talking about capabilities, we're talking purely on aesthetics. I do like the aesthetics design of the PS3, and I'll always be a fan of the original Spider-Man font PS3 logo. I'll always be more of a fan of that one more than anything, but touch capacitive buttons and glossy design. Gloss everywhere. You don't know how many times I've had a microfiber cloth just to clean off my fingerprints whenever I've had the PlayStation 3. Yes, I know I'm particular about that, but you know, this is my ranking, and I'm saying it's a pass. Like overall, it's a pass because of how bulky it is and just all the glossiness just everywhere. Now, I understand that there's another model later on that kind of rectifies that a little bit, at least on the forefront, but it's just, nah, I'm not feeling that at all. Oh man. Okay, the Slim PS3 Smash. This is honestly my favorite designed PlayStation console. This one is my favorite. Classy basic. Going back to classy basic. I love how everything looks on this. I love that they brought back the tactile buttons. I love the fact that it's a matte finish. I love the curve is just enough. Like it is just enough to be as lower impact as it could be from the first one, but still look like the PlayStation 3. It still has that iconic look. I love the etching of the PS3 on the side. I love the Sony logo on the front. I love everything about this design. Everything about it. It is an absolute smash. Take you to dinner, maybe take you to a nice tiramisu dessert after this. I freaking love this. Love this design. Gugh. Pass. Super slim PS3. Hard pass. The cheap CD tray, DVD tray, the cheap Blu-ray tray that you put on front of it. And I get it, it's to save money. But again, you could do a budget design console and still have it look nice. And this is where they really failed on this one. I don't care for it. The ridges feel cheap. Everything on the front feels cheap. They went back to a glossy design again. And not only that, the ports on the back are really, you could strip them very easily. I don't care for this model at all. I think it's ugly. The Wii. Oh man. Okay, so the Nintendo Wii. This is a tough one for me because again, it's basic, it's glossy, but it's so small and it's so cute. It's essentially what Nintendo really wanted. It's appealing to the family. The Nintendo logo just kind of cubbying up on the side. The power and the reset buttons basically there. The SD card slot being hidden. Again, I don't like the fact that the eject button is still frontally put in that direction if you lay your Wii on its side, but I dig it. I've always dug it, especially in other colors. Like I think in black, it looks awesome, but in black, the gloss does have your fingerprints more. So you really got to think about that. But yeah, in the different colors, I think it looks great. This is a smash. I think the original Wii looks great. It's a smash for me. And then one step forward, two steps back. The Wii Mini. The Wii Mini, which is only available in certain markets. Gross. I like the color contrast between the red and the black. I get it, Mario, I get it. I like that contrast color, but I don't like the design at all. Again, looking and feeling cheap. I don't like it. Pass. It's definitely a pass. Maybe if they had this with like red and black trim on the original Wii. Imagine that, the original Wii with all in red, but it also has like a black trim across like the sides. That would be sick. But this, nah, I don't like this at all. It does nothing. The Wii U, pass. Now, I'm gonna say it's a pass. I know some of y'all are probably gonna say, like, oh, what about the Wind Waker version, the Zelda version? Okay, the Zelda version does look really good, don't get me wrong. I like the skin on that, but at the core of it all, it looks like the basic of most basic DVD players. There's no cool ridges, there's no anything like that. It's just, it's nothing. It looks like your basic Blu-ray player that you would put on a shelf. And the Wii U doesn't even play Blu-rays. But yeah, I don't care for the actual console. Now, the joypad I've already talked about in a previous video, but the controller itself is one thing. The console, no, it's just kind of there. It's a pass. The Xbox One. So the original Xbox One. You know what? I'm getting a lot of feel of the Xbox One, 360 Model E in this. Now, taking the Kinect out of it, that doesn't count. But the console itself, though, although I do kind of like the mix and match. I do like the gray on the side of the CD and DVD Blu-ray tray, and the ridges on the top, and the black glossiness on the left side, and the glossiness to where the power button is. And you can see it on the side as well. I do kind of like that. So yes, it might have that kind of basic style of the Xbox 360e, but because of that mix and match kind of abstract design, I like that. Touch capacitive button for the ejects, I don't like that. But other than that, you know, it's a smash. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a smash. I think it's because of that mix and match style. It's calling out to me. So now we're getting into the Xbox One S, and I get it, budget model. It's fine, but it's almost painfully mediocre in how it looks. Pass. The Xbox One X, smash. See, this one is a smash because I actually am kind of a fan of how the front of the console overlaps the bottom just a little tiny bit. So when you put your CD tray in, it looks a little bit sleeker popping in there. Now, especially like when all the different color and redesigns of the Xbox, because there's a bunch of Xbox One X's and One S different color designs out there. But I like the one, I think it came with Battlefield. The one that had the metallic chrome to like gold sort of color. That one is sick. I love the look of that one. But overall, I've always been a fan of the Series X's look and design. It's sleek. It's a little bit more compact in style too, without taking up too much space. The imprint isn't that big, but it's very sleek. I dig it. I dig it. So it's a smash. Oh boy. All right, PS4. So again, we're talking about, so I like the fact that Sony kept it away from just being another box. I do like that, but this is still another one that doesn't really do anything for me. Now, I've always been sort of an advocate of the PS4's matte finish, like in certain designs. And again, with other colors, I think it looks really, really great. The Nathan Drake one immediately comes to mind. That some of them look really, really good. But overall, it's a design, and I hate to say it, kind of like the PlayStation 4 as a whole. To me, it's just kind of there. It doesn't really flutter my heart. It doesn't strike anything for me. It doesn't light a fire. It doesn't do nothing. It's a console. Pass. Yeah, it's a pass. It's just kind of a console for me. Slim, same problem. Pass. Only uglier. Oh, the PS4 Pro, same thing, only uglier with an extra stack. It's like the Big Mac of consoles. Why is there a third ridge in there? No, pass. Don't like it. Okay, so the Switch. So I toyed with not putting the Switch on this list, but at its core, it's still a console. It still fits in the home console, even though it's a hybrid. So I'm looking at it on the aesthetics, not of the Switch itself. That will happen in a future Smash or Pass episode. If you like this, Muse, we'll do that as well. But given it in its dock, it's a smash. It's a smash in its dock because I'm looking at it right now on my stream area, my stream deck. I'm seeing it right in there, and it looks so nice, and it takes up very little space on my desk. It takes up very little space on my desk. I can just take it out of place and just take it for wherever I need to be, and it looks good. It looks good. It looks sleek. I like how the Joy-Cons stick out on the side just enough. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. So now it's time to talk about Xbox Series. So the Series S. I can't put my finger on what this looks like. I really can't put my finger on it, but there's something kind of off-putting about the Series S that I just don't like. I think maybe if the vent that's on the top, because of course there's no CD tray because it's all digital, but maybe if it was maybe if it was gray and not black, maybe if it didn't stick out nearly as much as it does, I probably would like it a lot more. But as it is, it's just a big white box with a circle on it. Don't care for it. It's a pass. No, I don't care for the Series S at all. But the Series X, man, okay. It's a smash. And I'll tell you why. When I first saw the original Xbox Series X, I looked at it and I was like, what are you thinking, Microsoft? It looks like just a big tome. That's all it looks like. It's an obelisk with a slot on the side, and like, so where you can't really tell like what side you're supposed to put the CD in, and all, even though it's easy enough once you put one in there. But upon looking at it more and more, I like the kind of marble-ish paint design that they put on it. It's not just straight up black. It's like it has a minor marble look to it. But the one thing I really love the most about it is the accented green coming out of the vents on the top. I love that mixture of the black and green. It looks so cool. Like, I think it just looks so cool. And it's a smash for me. That's a smash. I turned around. At first, I didn't like it. At first, I didn't really care for it. But the more I looked at it, and then when I actually owned one myself and I saw that, I'm just like, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. So it's a smash. And here we go, ladies, gents, and everyone in between. My number one ugliest console of all time, the PlayStation 5. Pass, pass, pass. I hate this design with a fiery passion. I mean, there's a reason why I got memed into oblivion when it first came around. I can't stand it. I think it's ugly. Like, especially for the fact that I don't really have a whole lot of room to display my consoles in my room. Just the sheer fact that if I had to buy a separate stand, because that circular stand, if you lose it, you're screwed. And I lost mine. So I had to buy a separate stand to put on the side of it because it doesn't lay flat. How in the world do you make a console that can also be designed to put on its side that doesn't lay flat? That makes no sense to me. And it's just, now when the color comes off on the side, when it's on or it's in standby, it's kind of neat, but no, I hate it. I despise it with a fiery passion. And guess what? The Slim's not any better. I was hoping that when the PS5 Slim, oh, by the way, it's pass. I was hoping that like the PS5 Slim, it was going to make things a little bit better, but nope. Nope, it's still ugly, still requires a stand. It takes up less space. Good on you. That's great. But as far as the design goes, nah, it's still absolutely a pass. So did I get some of your favorites right? Did I get some of your release favorites right? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts on this, and let me know what your thoughts on this kind of video style as a whole. This is just a fun little quick project that I wanted to do, so I want to know your thoughts. Leave a like, of course, if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, seriously, it really helps the channel, especially because now I'm back into making regular content on YouTube. I really appreciate everybody's support and help. Of course, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/G to the next level if you do want to support the channel even further. And if you want to have fun stuff like this, but live, you can catch my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/G to the next level. I stream 4 days a week, including the home of the live renditions of Growing Up Genesis 3 days a week as of this recording. But I really want to thank y'all for watching. I had fun with this. So hopefully let's do it again. But until then, be you and be awesome. I'm G, and I'll see you on the next level.